Hello for the third
Hello,
time. Welcome to Contract 3 Workshop, hosted by Josh and
Alyssa.
um hopefully you all know what Contract 3 is at this point. If you don't, pay more attention in class.
Could we get a show of hands on? Is everyone here LAE?
Actually, is there anyone here
anyone
that's
not
not?
LAE?
Is there anyone in here that's not in thank you. Is there anyone in here who is not in Yorts 150? Okay, thank you. Okay, so you should hopefully all know what contract is. This format should look pretty familiar to you with new open recent projects guide. It's all the same stuff. There's nothing new. We'll just go over here, showcase. I'm just gonna make a new project, call it workshop. All that standard stuff. We'll create it. Just gonna try to.
Use the slides half over a little bit more.
Oh,
So we have a little
yeah.
bit more space. We can
Alright.
always make it larger and smaller depending on.
Yeah, I can just zoom out here. All right. So, contract 3.
So, first of all, for quick explanation, regardless of if you've used Construct before, or if you're an artist, or if you're a coder for your group, we hope that this workshop can teach you all a few new things, as we're going to be running through a basic, little game design demo at the start, and then we're going to be breaking off into kind of Q&A format, and also at the end of presentation, we have a few things that we will kind of get a show of hands on what people want to see. So, if you want NPC behavior, if you want dialogue formatting, if you want a stamina bar and HP bar and all that, we can show you all stuff from there. But we're just going to work with some basic stuff first, so y'all can get a good ground program. Yeah, Contract 3. It's somewhat flexible, but pretty stubborn. It's pretty annoying, so we just gotta work past that annoyance. That's the point of this workshop. Yeah. So I hope you all enjoy, and I hope you all learn something new.
Yeah. Give it up for contract 3. Yeah. It's, it has its pros and it has its cons.
Okay. Start basic game development. So for this, everyone should have Construct open, as we're going to just be running through some basic steps of starting to get a game going. And then from there, with the rest of the workshop, you can kind of make the game into whatever you want, add what features you feel like to it, or if you have questions related to your mice, feel free to ask them.
So yeah, we'll give you all a minute to open up Construct, get a new project going if you haven't already. As in my experience, Contract 3 is pretty okay. It's not bad, but it's not great either. It's good because you don't really need to know much about coding in order to use it, but it is pretty limited, so I want to make sure that you don't fall too far behind. If there's something you want to do, you know how to do it. I can say from several hours of research, there are not great tutorials on how to use Construct 3 either. So that's part of the reason that we want to host this workshop, so you don't have to waste a lot of hours of your life like we had to do learning all this stuff. All right.
Okay, first off, choose a game format or start from scratch. Construct inherently includes various game templates, made full games or used as bases. Regardless of if you want to base game off one, should look through the code of each to find out how to link certain features of your games. These are on the main Construct screen of I think it's under free trial or something. But essentially, these are all demo games. I recommend looking at them just so you can get a good idea of okay, if I need to build a text game, go with the visual novel thing. If you want to build an RPG, look at the Demon Era game. It's good to have that basis of seeing what coders before you have done, and then taking that and making your own code from it. Or just start from scratch. That's what we'll be doing, but remember to always go back and look at some of these game templates as they will help a ton.
I would say one of the best ways to learn game development is to just look at what other people have done. There's a very famous saying, if you are a computer science student, of you don't learn anything, you just learn how to control C, control V. That still holds true within Construct 3. You just have to be a little bit more creative with how you do it.
On top of that, these demo games also have good documentation of writing inside telling you what does what and how it does it. So that's especially recommendations. Okay, first off, we're going to start with a basic breakdown of the layout menu. So over here, if you want to click the layout over on the right, the new button, there you go. Okay, so this is layout. This is like a level in Construct, although it could just be made into like overworld or whatever you need it to be. From files, whatever. So first up here we have the event sheet right below. That is going to be where you put in your code for your game. What I recommend is having a main event sheet and then sub event sheets for each layout, as you want one main one for like behavior of your character, because that's going to remain the same everywhere. But you want sub ones for like in this area only this happens or this enemy shows up. So that's especially helpful. You can make the size of the layout, perspective, all that stuff. Effects are especially helpful. Adding like a pixelation to everything or changing the color of stuff. I recommend taking good work from there. And most of the rest of the stuff down here doesn't help matter. I'll say a big part of this workshop is trimming down what y'all will need and what y'all won't need. And I don't think y'all will want to need stuff down in the editor section.
Yeah, so like any game dev engine, it's gonna be a ton of very useful things and a ton of stuff that you will only need if you are on YouTube at 3 a.m. and you have this wild idea of doing something. Maybe then you can use it, but you can get by without it. I would also say for the layouts, it depends on what type of game you're making. Mine had kind of like this base overworld, and so that's what I used my main layout for, and all the sub ones were for different levels I had throughout it. But as Alyssa said, all depends. Sometimes it's easier just to have a few general global ones in the main layout, and you have all your specific interactions in different ones.
Over here on the side, we have the project tab. If you want to scroll to make the project tab a little bit bigger on the screen, drag it a little bit.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, so we got the layouts. Of course, we just want to look at that. Event sheets, and then we very folder with script, timeline, flowchart, sound, music, all this various stuff is all going to be stored in here. So I say keep note of that. This project tab we're going to be skimming through a lot, especially when you start adding sprites and backgrounds. This project tab is going to get very full. Remember the search function is always good, and also when we get to it, remember to name your sprites and stuff what you want them to be named, because otherwise it will just be sprite and then a number, and it can get mixed up very easily at that point.
Yeah, as we can touch up on that, like once your game starts going, you will have a lot of different things to go through with it. A lot of different sprites, a lot of different layouts. It's very important that you keep this area organized. And as you can see, for the most part, Construct 3 does a pretty good job at separating it. You can see your layouts, your event sheets, your scripts. It doesn't show here, but your sprites, they'll all show up here. So it's really good for you to figure out what you have where. This is something that if any of you know, like Unity just throws everything into one folder called assets, and it's up to you to figure it out. So Construct 3 is nice that they'll do that for you. Just make sure that you keep it organized yourself.
Next up, Josh, you're going to point at the layers. Layers are especially helpful. Essentially, within one layout, you can have multiple layers, and the layers, for example, HUD elements. So if you want like a health bar or something, I can show you how to do that. That essentially is reducing the parallax down to 0, so the screen is always moving with your character. Or for example, another one is you can add like a title screen in there, or you can add transitions or mini games. Layers are really helpful as you can have them become visible and not visible at any time. And then tile map down the corner, that's if you're making a more grid-based game, but it's helpful to know that that's there. Yeah.
Like basically any UI thing that you want, you should be utilizing layers.
Let's move on. Next up, we're going to add your first like object. So, let's go that way. Right click, do the lightweight box, and we're going to do insert new object. And we're going to scroll down and go to sprite.
Another useful thing, utilize the search bar. It can be very helpful. All I have to do is that, and I already have Sprite right here. There's also several different ways. You can push enter, you can double click, spacebar. There's a lot of different ways to select it. Find whatever one works best for you.
Once you've selected, click somewhere in the layout. It'll right there, and it'll pull up an editor, which is very crowded on the screen. So I'm going to move it over so we have a little bit more space compared to the slideshow.
It's just
Okay. So this is the animation editor for your sprite. So you can see right in the middle, there's a bunch of tools up top. The main ones I'd say to keep note of. You got a save button, you got a folder button, and you can pull up images and stuff from your computer. Say you can save it to your computer that you're working on. And then also these double arrows going apart. That means the resize right there. That's helpful for making sure the sprite is the size you want it to be and not too large.
so this is I guess how many of you don't know what a hitbox is? Okay, it seems okay. We have a couple people. So in reality, it's pretty obvious. You look at something, you touch it, you're gonna stop wherever the thing is. Computers don't work like that. In some ways, you basically have everything is made up of two things: what's visible and the invisible hitbox. The reason that's called a hitbox is because that's what's actually being interacted with. So even though something might look like a certain shape, it doesn't. The computer will not recognize it as that shape. That's what the hitbox are for. So you have to change the hitbox to match the sprite, basically match the image. So this resize just automatically shrinks the hitbox down to whatever image you have. But there's a lot of different game dev for the
There's
resize.
some helpful stuff to know in there. Resize, but so
This one.
okay. One thing you can edit in pixel size and a few things about this, keeping the aspect ratio will keep the size of the image to the exact same and the image. If you click on that whole drop down, this goes by what type of editing experience. So if you make something at 250 by 250, you might want stretch, so it shrink down to the size you want to be, but it would conserve what the image is. But aligning it top, left, or center, which essentially just shrink down to only the part of the image. So it's helpful to know that type of stuff. We can X out right now. So at this point, you can kind of just make some little guy, make sure it takes up most of the room of the canvas.
Let's do.
Let me send you the one that I had, Josh.
Alright.
I realized the one that's not before.
Yeah. So this is like even if you're the artist in your group, it's still important to know the ins and outs of Construct 3, mainly because the coders are probably not going to spend the time to learn the artwork, and that's gonna be up to you to make sure they do their job right. And also because it is pretty easy to drag it along, but you want to make sure that the art you're making fits within the size standards of Construct 3, or that you can get the hitboxes right. Yeah, there's a few reasons why you'd also want manually adjust the hitbox instead of just automatically shrinking it down. You don't really need to worry about that for the mice project. But if you have like a weird shape, like a circle, it's gonna shrink down to a square. So you have to figure out whether you want the corners to be within the square or within the circle, outside the circle, something like that. Or if you have a person, you want to make sure that the rectangle fits within their walking animation and not just like outside. There's all sorts of different things. You can play around with however you like. But make sure that your hitbox generally fills the area of your artwork.
Okay, I will send this to you. Over Google Drive. So at this point, I would want to make a simple, like, free-frame idle animation for your character. So just work on that. An idle animation is just basically keeping the character in place and just having them shift around to look like they're breathing. Okay, I just sent you. Phone package essentially. Just reload. So, yeah, there you go.
All right.
Yeah, just download this.
Okay.
And then go into construct.
I'm just gonna.
Yeah. Well, you gotta press the folder button. That's the main thing.
Oh, can I not just?
I don't think you can. I mean, you can try it. Yeah, yeah, there you go. Here.
Cool.
This is one place where you have to resize.
Oh my gosh. There you go.
No, wait, I think, yeah, it's size. Yeah, it's sized correctly. Okay. To add another frame to let me see.
You just.
I think you just write like next to your relation and yeah, add frames.
That's right. Yes.
And you can also duplicate frames, copy and paste. And you'll see over here is creating property, which includes how long the frame's lasting. And if you click out of that for a second, you can see animation properties. Hopefully, click on the animation one. Yeah, there we go. You can see the speed at which the animation is playing. Set it to loop. Yeah, when you make your idle animation, set them to loop. So you need to play over. Okay.
I guess the important ones, yeah, speed is how fast, loop, make sure that it doesn't stop, it'll just keep playing the same thing. Or if you only want to play a certain amount of times, you can adjust the repeat ones.
And then ping pong plays it and then plays it back in the opposite order. How's everyone doing on this? Where we at? We got basic idle animations. Who's not understanding stuff or who needs some help? If anyone needs, okay, sure.
I guess one more time because I saw a few more people come in. Who hasn't signed the attendance sheet?
Okay. Silence. Yeah. My child is sitting pretty yeah, looking great, but I think even though things can help. As I can walk around so you know exactly what I'm think of it. Like the grades.
I guess a few things to point out is that if you want to import any images you have found that, like if you're working in Illustrator, you can either drag the file directly into the page that got it there. You can put this button here. I'll move my mouse over there. This button right here, and it'll open up your files, and you can just load the image in that way.
Files.
They're pretty accepting of a lot of files, but I would say try to go for a JPEG or a PNG.
And you should be like 50 by 50 pixels.
Depends on what you want to do, but I think that's a default. And then you can resize it within Contract 3 as well, so you don't have to be too worried about that. You just want to make sure that it's being consistent with everything else.
Could you go back to how
Y- so you can either just search right here for Sprite and pop up there, but if you want to look for it manually, it's right.
File docs.
Anyone else?
Like the actually accent. I think that's the accent, right?
Oh, yes.
Oh, instant workshop? That's this thing. Okay, you go.
Okay. How many people are done with their like, or who's not done? Okay. I think maybe we move on to exit out. Let's see, Xbox.
All right.
Okay. When y'all are done with the sprites, exit out, and you will see the sprite in the layout. Tiny.
That's just very tiny.
You can scratch them if you want to make it larger.
Alright, I'm just gonna. Like I said, it doesn't really matter what the size is when you bring it in because you can always just grow it outside. But be wary, depending on what type of format it is, it can show up blurry. And I mean, we're stretching it way beyond. My size is like 1,000 by
Doesn't
1,000.
have to play.
Yeah.
Let's see if the idle is working. Okay, yeah, it's working somewhat.
I'm just gonna shrink this down to be like 500, but.
Blurry. Blurry on the line.
Because it is very small, so I'm just gonna. Yeah. How small is this thing? That's bad.
It's okay.
Huh?
Okay. You want me to slideshow big again?
Yeah.
Oh, also don't forget to name the sprites. Once y'all are done, don't forget to go in and name your sprites. Just to go over there, that one you can see. Over the sidebar, have a like guy there. Okay. Now don't move on to the next slide yet. Go back and you're going to add another object. If you right click down, we're going to add a keyboard. So add keyboards, and once you add it, it'll just be added, and we'll get to what we're doing with that in a second, and add mouse. Okay. Add that, and then we'll move on from there.
Object types. Okay. One thing I forgot to mention is that all your objects that you import, including sprites, are going to be under this folder called object type. Just right click and you can add a subfolder, name it sprites, and then the.
Oh yeah, if y'all don't have the code for construct, make sure you get the codes.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure you're signed in, make sure you have the code. I think they were like if like they gave those out during lecture.
Yeah.
or
I think it
during
was
class.
in your third lecture. So if you can't find it, go to your Canvas or UArts 150. It was in whichever lecture. You have to scroll down a couple slides. If you need the code though, it is. Actually, does anyone need the code? Can they not find it or they don't have it right now?
By the way, to add the code, you go to click on that and make sure you're logged in, and then also it should say enter access code underneath it. If you're not logged, if you don't have the code, so if you're seeing enter access code, then make sure you put it in, which we can. Sure.
Wheel the code in. Okay.
Flip it around. It's back. It's
Does anyone have a marker?
oh right over here.
Oh. Anyway, nice.
Sorry. Yeah.
This is the access code. If you need it,
The access code will allow you to do more stuff in the base version of Construct, such as adding more events, adding subfolders, and a bunch of other stuff. Just make sure you have it in because certain programs and stuff will not work if you don't have the access code in.
Yeah.
Um,
you realistically will not be able to make a full mice project without the access code.
let's move on to the next step so we can get people started with that. Okay. Next up, making a character. So we've kind of done this. We've added sprite and idle. If you want to go back into your character, let's add a walking animation to them. So let's
Double click.
character up, and you see up in the top right there's animations. If you right click under animations, you can add another animation and make a little walking one for them.
Better.
Do you want me to send you that one?
Well, wait, I can probably just draw it in.
I think I have the actual one.
If you have one, yeah, maybe that's just. Oh, this is not a bat.
That's about it. I wait, you called it. I spoke to the person. What? I spoke to the Yeah, what if we all did this together? That's collaborative.
Oh.
How do you play your animation?
Once you bring it into Construct 3, if you just click run, so you can just close out the editor, the sprite editor, and then click play right here. It should automatically just go. Character might not be in your previews. This is an interesting. Okay, so try bringing your character into this room right here. I think that might be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you go back to your editor before? So yeah. All right. So you'd want to add your animation or different things in right here. So you can just draw your guy. Else. Yep. And then you have some loop.
What?
Yeah, there you go. That's a little bit. The other thing is that if you go back to Contract,
Okay, there we go.
should put the it's right.
Let me just make sure that. Yep, okay. Let me set the walking animation to loop.
Make sure that it's capitalized.
But now we got the walking animation in there.
What?
Got it. Okay, how's the walking animations going? Help with this part? Sure.
I do. Like actually.
If you want to preview your, just click this button right.
it's only big shakes of the yacht. Imagine the strings back in. Yeah, so sort of big comic, so it's like going back to the one. Yeah, but yeah, there you go.
Does anyone else need any help? Is anyone able to find how to do it?
How we going?
Does anyone still need more time for their animation?
Okay. I think I heard him say a little bit.
Yeah. We'll give you like another minute or two.
I'll start going over the next step for people who are there.
Okay.
Okay. How many people are done with their walking animation? Okay, for anyone done with their walking animation, we can move on to stuff. Don't worry if you're not done. It's just to get others to go with the next step. Okay. So you're going to right click, exit out of the animation. Right click on the right click on this and add a new object. And we are going to scroll down to the movement section. Or no, this is behavior actually. Sorry. Click on your little guy, and yeah,
Okay.
do it that way, or behaviors are in the side menu as well.
So you can either right click, go to add behavior, or come down here to where it says behaviors and click on this. Both of them will bring you to the same spot.
Behaviors are perhaps the most important thing about your game, as they will decide what your sprites can do and what they can't do. So we're going to go into different room paths using different behavior. First of all, add solids. We're going to add let's add continue down. We're going to add, so this is where the movement section is. For this workshop, or at least I'm gonna go for move 2. That's like a point and click movement system where your character will move to the position you click on the map. However, you can use 8 direction if you want to press W, S, and D and like pass around that way. Or tile movement if you want a more grid-based system. There's a bunch of different systems in here. We're focusing on a top-down perspective for the game, or for like this demo game, but we'll go over how to make more stuff after. So let's just do move 2.
I will say a word of advice from my experience. If you are planning on making a 3D first person, don't. Contract 3 is not built for that for whatever reason, even though they offer it. So if you are using 3D as your game style, kind of make it the top down 2.5D almost.
We'll show some game examples later.
Yeah, it's like it's not fun.
Okay. If you want to go to the next slide, I can show that'll have the blown up version of. This is all the events you gotta add for us to like get going. So go into your event sheet and work on adding these events in. If anyone needs help with these events, then I can help go with them. But first, we're going to go to the mouse left button clicked. I think on click. And then it'll show from that. Yeah, left clicked. Done. So this is like the if side of the statement, and then what happens from there. So that's how all the events constructed built. Go to, I think it's in the folder. Oh, sorry, it's
It should be.
yeah, add action. Click on add action. Yeah. Right. Okay. Say forward.
Words.
And this is where we're going to get into some complex stuff a little bit. So you're going to type in mouse X and mouse Y. This is essentially going to make your character look at where you've clicked your mouse.
How many people here are taking EECS classes or just understand game development through computer science terms? Okay, we have a little bit of people. Basically, out of let's just saying this left side is the if statement, and the right side is everything that goes within that if statement. We have like if mouse on left button clicked, basically saying like if the left button is clicked, then do all of these. And the mouse.x and mouse.y, if you work with object-oriented programming, you know dot operands, number something words. So what this is saying is basically find where your mouse is and take the x coordinate, and find where your mouse is and take the y coordinate, and set that angle towards those two positions. This is doing math that you don't need to be worried about. But just know that the end result is that when you click on the left button, it'll set the angle towards there, and then coming over here, we'll wait a second. Then we will have the character move towards where your mouse is.
Add the weight, that which is at the bottom of the system. Shut it be for 1 second.
Yeah, so this is just kind of just feels better to have. I mean, some you, but not better. And then you also want to set your animation to walk. Just because if you're moving your character, you want to make it look like your character is moving. Is there a question?
Yes.
So
Did you add the object for a mouse? Okay.
you can right click and click on movement. And it'll pop up different things you'll want to put on the mouse, and then look up that angle, and that should pop up with the right one that you want. Down on the
Some of those.
Yeah, you're adding action that come off of your event. So, yeah, you're going to add action. Yeah. And then once you all have got that first event down, the next one's a little bit more tricky. As so this bit's a little bit tricky. You're testing if you're quite so you're going to want to invert the condition to get to that point. Okay. Who has questions? Who needs help?
What? Oh, I can't be great. I think want to Oh, and your casting. Got it. All one. I get it. You're probably talking. That loud. Sit on. Yeah. Now, what, no,
Alright, so you can see now that we have it, when we click, our character will look towards the direction that we want to go, and then it'll start to walk over. So if you have done everything right, yours should look similar to this, but just with your own sprite. Some important things to point out. You want to make sure that mouse is capitalized. Computer science stuff is case sensitive, which means that in uppercase and lowercase will have different effects. It means it differently. So just make sure if something isn't working, make sure everything is spelled correctly, everything is the same. Uppercase, lowercase, if there's any punctuation, make sure the punctuation is the same. Your thing should look like.
Oh, you need to add. You need to add.
Oh, I forgot,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But the instructions are the same on my side.
Now. How do I? No.
Bounce it flat. It's. Go up.
Yeah.
No, okay, for me. Yeah.
No, perfect. So it's such a
Maybe back. So I think it was just one.
Just basically.
Yeah.
Makes you feel popped down. I'm done. Because I think I would say it's actually. I don't think we have any isometric units. If I'm done with either this one's either four direction bottom, or this one. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't. But I think I don't think isometric is a little bit sad. This is like.
Top down, just this code.
Yeah. I think
We're back.
this one is probably what's gonna suit us best. So it's like not the same one. It's not the same. Because from what I'm seeing, this is just like it's this good. This is only one for it's like black. And we can see if we can get it, but I think that because I like this because the walking scene that I'm doing. But this is a suit, so we're not taking it on the left. So, well, it's.
dotted line right here. This is what your that's what's gonna show up when you push play, so make sure your sprite is in. Okay, everyone, if I can have your attention for a little bit. Mistakes, or not really necessarily mistakes, but just things I'm noticing is that if you push play and your sprite isn't showing up, go back to your layout one, and there should be a dotted or dashed line that's going. That's what will show up when you have preview. So if your sprite is outside of that dashed line, you won't be able to see it. So just drag your sprite in there. That's kind of the main thing. Just make sure that you also drop your hitbox to your sprite, because otherwise it might look a little bit funky when it's walking. I'm gonna go through how to do this one more time for anyone that missed it, just because not everyone here is the coders for the team. So you want to start. I'm just gonna redo this exact same stuff. Everything on the left, or everything right here, is considered an event. All these like big light gray ones, and everything that's dark gray is considered an action. So start an event, you just click add event. We have on mouse click, so we're gonna go to mouse because that's what we want to happen. On click, then this is what we want. On left button clicked, done. Add action. We'll go sprites and Bruce, because the first one is going to be what we want to cause the action to happen. The action is going to be what is being affected. So the second thing you should be selecting is the sprite, because the sprite is going to be walking when you click. So then we're going to do rotate towards position, or rotate, set angle towards position, my bad. Mouse, oh, mouse dot X, mouse dot Y. You want to make sure that it's capital as well, because as I said, it's case sensitive. Done. That's pretty much. And then you can see, so everything right here, these are going to be what you want to select for the action first, and this is what you want to look up to actually do the action. So as you can see, we have 3 things for Bruce here and 1 thing for system. So to find the function wait 1 second, you want to click system, not Bruce. So
Why is it here?
Yeah.
It's so obsessive. Are you guys gonna go through my team?
probably not, because we don't need them. That's one of those things I was saying is like, if you have something really niche that you were thinking of, like, oh, it'd be really cool if I did that, chances are you'll be able to find it on Google. So maybe not, but most likely you won't have to use those.
Yeah.
I don't want to get the noise presentation. So,
Oh, what are you niche today?
right after this. So I'll show you slides in front of me. So just like check out what you think about it, and then we can get a better reach.
Okay.
Then we can let's. Okay. These slides are amazing version.
Yeah. Is there anyone that's still having trouble?
Listen to that. Spend it on.
It's always too much. Oh. You make some new event. Maybe else. Which event is? Oh, type in newspaper search. Go to the. Citizen under the business. Okay.
Let's see this. Five.
Okay.
I think it's just. Oh, either.
Which is the. It's so. Cause without it, it's like whenever it is moving this action. But now whenever it's not, that error. Oh.
So for everyone, unstructured incidents of bashing, you don't want to make sure you make proof that save the new project.
It's a lot.
Right. You sleep out. I was kind of thinking, but first of all, those teachers have said that, that's like, it's like, it's when it's tough. It's like the opposite of when it's not.
Yes.
But we have control, way over the control. Like, the finish make sure character is walking in place, in place. And then trying to convey that while they're still still.
This is making. I.
Yeah, no, rest assured, I'm gonna get the bus right outside of the concert. Hey, look at my stupid, little arms. But he's good. We should make it. That's good. No, but you're walking at it makes it look like so. I make it same.
Okay. How many people have a working moving animation? How many people's program crashed? Sorry. It happened. How many people are still working on their moving animation? Or making it work?
Wait, I have the animation for like a walking cycle, except I don't know how to make it walk. So, I love it. Oh,
That animation. Type in the word for that animation. Also, make sure your animation's on mode so continue to play. Yeah, it needs to be within the. There you go. And is the animation on loop? Okay, when it opens. And if you add move to, it'll move to wherever you put your mouse. Um, I'll go to the sprite. Go down, you go to the. Did you get the move to behavior? Okay, here. We're going to go back to main layer. Click on them. I click out them. Go down the side. We're going to click on behavior. Add new behavior. Scroll down. Move to. Okay. Now you're going to go back to your event sheet. You can exit out of this menu now. Add action. Little human. Scroll down. Go up a little bit. And do move to position. That one. And do mouse.x and mouse.y. Yep. And hopefully that works. Okay.
you like my little. This is gonna be pretty. This is gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Okay. Regardless of if everyone is done or not with their animations, we're going to move on to the next step. It's fine if you're not. We can go over more stuff after. I just want to make sure we get through this. Okay. So at this point, you know, something like this, vaguely. Maybe. I don't know. We're getting there. But we're still missing something. We are missing a background. So now we're going to try and add a background. Uh, so first thing I want you all to do, go back to your main canvas, right click, and add a new object, and scroll down and add tiled background. So yeah, Josh,
Right click.
yeah.
Insert new object. Tile
Tiled
back.
background.
So just
Yeah,
gonna
yeah, just put someone in the space.
uh,
Yeah, like okay. Now this tile background, you're just going to color it, make it however you want. For the demo one, I just made grass, but whatever you want to do with it, yeah. Make some like waves or something. A little mouse is walking on the waves. And then once you're done, you can just make it as big as possible. You may have to edit the Z order so that the background is not on top of your character. But from here, you'll have a little background for your guy to walk around on.
walking around in the sky among the birds.
So if you max out at this point, and then make the tile background, make it fit the whole screen. So tile background, it loops the same pattern over and over again. So the big thing about it is making sure you have a good pattern that looks enough like random. Like if you want to do grass, make sure you do a lot of grass. If you want to do like a perfect pattern, make sure it's a relatively geometric perfect pattern. We're gonna open up the chat like the player.
Whoa, amazing. Um,
Okay, does anyone have any questions related to tile diagrams? How do you tile it?
My favorite.
Oh my god.
Sorry, the background. Set to bottom. Yeah. And then you can now play it and also click on it, drag it, up the side to the board.
one other thing is that if you cannot see your character because of the background, double click on or right click on it, go to Z order, and send to bottom of layer.
Play my game once a second.
Beautiful. I love it.
Do you think I could submit this for the mice project and get 100?
Yeah, I think they'll really like them. Like, I love just the message it conveys. Like, it really just it makes me feel like I want to be a better person. I think it is. Yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
This is getting 100. I have like you. This is so big. Wait. Wait. How do you go make it go back to the idle animation? Mine's always
I added another one. In like the second when it's not the thing. It's just I just like you add a whole to it. And it's like moving. Like move to is moving. Find the happy.
is moving.
It's moving.
I'm actually
You can then whatever wrong click it and add the hint first. Sorry, whatever this was.
oh
You don't have a mouse. Try double. It really doesn't. But like you look at edges.
oh
Yeah, and that'll whenever it's not moving, and then you set it. If you want it to stand straight up again, you can set the angle to 0.
So I playing around with hopefully that one. Do we have any other questions about background? Yep.
Whoa.
Who's not done with their backhand? Who wants more time with background? Yes, Ella. There, totally.
Would you like to come make some music for a game real quick? No.
Great. Okay. We're going to go on to step one of the page. Object. So with this, you can add another sprite, or we're going to go on to the alternate one of adding a 3D shape. So right click, add object, and right top 3D shape. So you're just going to pop that in there, and it's going to add something that looks like a dice and has a bunch of faces. Feel free to just quickly customize faces. And it'll give you all a minute to do that, and now describe the behaviors you want to add to them and like what you want to do with them, so that your little guy can't walk through the objects.
I accidentally closed construct. Did I lose all my work?
No, did you make a save?
No.
Okay. Right now, I'm going to say to everyone, if you are in construct, go up to the top left corner of construct, X out the menu quickly. Press the save button. Do it. Everyone right now. I don't want anyone else losing their progress. So yeah, hit the save button, it'll save to your computer. Just make sure when you're working on construct, save every few minutes. You never know when construct is going to bite you in the back. Stab you in the back? I don't know if it's
Yeah. Stab you in the back. Bite you in the arse.
bite you in the back. Bite you in the back.
Consult the tier list. Also, another important thing to mention for the backgrounds is that once you get it in the spot you want, right click, go to lock, unlock section. I cannot tell you how many times I've accidentally moved my background while trying to do something else, so that just means you can no longer interact with it. If you want to be able to change it, you can still access it on this right hand side, and you can right click here and unlock it wherever it is. Somehow. You'll be able to unlock it, or you can still double click it, I think. Unlock all on
Yeah.
layer one. So I'll let you, it's not on layer one. Yeah, just make sure to lock your stuff.
You're such a fun.
Upside down. Yeah. The move to condition in terms of that starts space, like where you're like things are people different. I think that's the way to do this. Give me a minute, I'll be back and I'll be back. I'll say in the meantime, we can take a work with go in and have it shadow counter. Start adding condition that doesn't make it so that you're back to the author. First. Wait, I just mentioned stuff about bigger to one. And make sure your pig already has the lines. Oh, yeah. I can give you on. But oh, that. Great. Have you thinking? Over here.
Anyone have any questions for me here?
Everyone. Right foot. Certain objects. So you should put that back. We can all be. Wow. You don't get too complex. It's just, I recommend it. you all. No, as we. That was like that. I got that's lots. Yeah. It's just like, I'm gonna do back here.
Okay. At this point, click on your 3D shape and go to down to paper, and you have these two papers, Shadow Caster and Solids. This allows you to shadow the game and then also make a solid shape so your object can't go through it once we add these papers. Okay, go into your events tab. Okay, everyone, give me a thumbs up when you get those behaviors added to the objects. Don't add them to the sprite, add them to your little square. The two behaviors of shadow caster and solids to the cube.
If you do, have you made a 3D cube? Work on that, so right click on your layout, input new object, a 3D shape. Feel free to customize it, yeah, you just click on it, you can drop it in. X out for now, and you can add behaviors, add shadow cuts or solids. Yeah, the both right through up at the top. Okay, how are you doing? Did everyone drop the paper? Okay. And then the final step here is to add these events to prevent your character from running into the objects. So we're going to start with sprite. So go into your events. We're going to start with sprite on collision with your 3D shape. So I think it's on collision. You should have in collision. Let me look. It's on solids. Where's it not in here? I know it's definitely a thing.
Really?
It is.
Oh, that's why it's in action for some reason. Oh.
Yeah, on collision. So draw one on collision with another object, and on collision with the 3D shape. Do that, click the 3D shape. And then add the action to stop movement. For the sprite. So go down to 2 and do stop. Click on that one, and then copy and paste this. Like copy and paste the whole action. Like everything. If you click on the green arrow bit, not that, not that. Click on the bit, yeah, and you finish copy. And Control V. There. A lot. Okay, and then we're going to change the top condition to on overlapping with on the second one. So this is basically double insurance that if your character runs into the shape, it will not be like causing any issues with it. Yeah, so your character cannot walk into the shape. Solid. I think the character's stuck in the shape, Josh.
We're stuck in purgatory.
Also, the final condition, you system as we said, and then scroll to object or scroll to character. That'll make it so that the camera will follow around your little guy as they walk around. System, scroll to objects. Okay, there's one thing I gotta fix about the code quickly, and then I think we should just be about set. With Bruce, what was the name of the first enemy? What did you name the? I just need to copy that. Oh, wait.
The animation on that walking by.
Uh-huh, very familiar. Yep, literally. I was going to use one of the NPCs from the game, but that's just the first one I found. Okay. So now oh, we gotta move him out of there. Save him from his purgatory. Yeah, so now you can walk around and if you make the layout bigger, then it will scroll to wherever your character is.
That's quite sad. For you. That's my phone.
Okay, great.
Did you ever figure out the problem with your doors in this game?
No.
Most of your inconsistent smell.
Oh, I did in the police station, but I didn't care about adding them anywhere.
Because those doors are inconsistent as hell.
I still don't know how to make good doors. Or physics doors, at least. But yeah, look, camera's moving with them. Okay, I'm gonna go around and help anyone.
Yeah, I'm gonna mess around with this thing.
Okay.
March. March, peon. Oh, I got him stuck. Oh, come on.
It's just a double, like, insurance. Shape. All things. Now it's just you and I'm like, oh, that's just like it, but it's that's like a bad back.
Pretty quick when he gets what it's done. So like,
Now, art, I like it. So. We're like,
oh,
okay, you're a bad, look at what you did. Okay, how would you, any questions?
What is the the plastic spoon? What? What do you eat? Like a week ago. I'm like going to say like, oh, this was like 8 years ago. Like,
I
take this thing. Oh my god, look at my stupid. Stupid, I love it. Oh my god, he's dancing. He's so sweet. Oh my god. I just think I would play it. Faces like actually kind of good. It's just kind of that's true. People think, but you know, that doesn't work. You think that's what you want. Oh my god.
Fine. Yeah. Any questions from here? Hope you're on. Doing good? Great. Any questions from here? Up. Why not?
Thing. I am so glad I'm not a creative. Besides, hurting my brain.
On. Oh yeah, there's one more thing I forgot to add. Shadowcaster.
Yeah.
If we go back to here, we just need to add insert new object, and you're just going to add a shadow light. But you need to connect the shadow light with the object. I think it's not technically funny. There might be something make it green of it. Just need to do a little bit.
In the name. Yeah, but yeah, you get out there. It's easy. It's not special. You know what? I'm gonna put the bottle of it. That you can check. The box, I got 4. Big Twitter.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
This should work.
Find that.
Oh, my object is way above the ground.
Just color inside the object.
No, I did. It's just not showing. I don't know why.
Other than
Yeah.
okay.
Anyway, so in order to do that, add shadow light as a new object. Then there's a lot of different ways to do it. The way I chose to do it, every tick, add a new event system, every tick. Then you select your shadow light and set the position to your sprite with the image point 0. So what this is doing is that for every tick in the game, in standard, there's 60 ticks per second. That's really like 60 FPS, frames per second. It is updating the position of the light to match the character, and because this is going faster than your brain can really comprehend, it makes it look like it's smooth and fluid. You can also do other stuff like that. So
Another thing I'll say with the shadow light, you can change the. If you click on the shadow light, you can change the color of the shadow that's created. So I think by default it's just black. So make different colors, make like funky little shadows, and if you want to like make a bunch of the objects and stuff, you can make like a little maze with your characters and stuff.
Yeah, and I have a green shadow.
Yeah, with that green
Okay.
shadow.
I guess this could be useful for like searchlights or something like that. I've gone the character stuff.
I think there's also some way to turn on transparency on them. On the shadows, but I don't know. Okay, anyone need help with shadow lights?
So, oh well. Go to adventure, yeah. Using this same trick, you can also attach extra objects to something. For example, I had a mini game where I was making a burger, and every single time I would catch a piece of the burger, I would set at every tick, set the position to the previous slot. So I had a plate that would move, and I would every tick update the bottom bun to match the plate, and then I would have the meat and the cheese and the top bun just match the other ones. That's kind of the beauty of coding, is that you can mix and match stuff however you would like, and often you will find it works the same.
Anyone else need help with shadow lights? I don't know where about.
Like, also, like, all those, the box. Well. All of us.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh. These are such better. This is truly. They spend years to get this done. Over the long time. He's like, when I follow yes. Did it? I think you were doing that. I don't just. No, it's just here. I will just for the fourth year. So that's I don't think that she can have that. So like shots. I don't know if you're like she comes to the survey.
You know, the Monday one for like,
That me of
it's straight. They're like it's standard. You know how we type to do a doc for that? Leave that stuff in. There's like a Google Doc we all like each of us typed up different like mechanic. Like I typed up mechanics, someone typed up with all the like background characters. Okay, into it. It was okay. All right.
yeah.
Because I'm not gonna be able to
One. I don't.
I went that. Oh, right. They did. But I do remember them saying something like there's going to be something this summer. Like, dude. That's it.
Moving on from here. We're almost at the end, everyone. So, Josh, if you want to come back up here just now. So, that was just one type of game. There are many more. Cooking game, piano game, painting game, visual novel thing, Frigga, yeah.
So this is also what has an update to open for more than one thing. This is the bond that's attached to the plate, and the plate can move back and forth and bond and stay attached.
So there's a lot of different types of games. We just showed you how to make one today, but from here we can just move on, as this is the end of the slideshow proper, but we can go over a few of these things quickly if you all want any help with these individually or in groups. How to make game UI, how to make pathfinding episodes, making a dialogue system, a cutscene, making a 3D world with physics, and more. And if you just all have any general questions related to your mics, feel free to ask them. So
It is 3:42 right now.
I think the workshop's officially over, but if y'all want to make questions or want help knowing how to make any of these things, we will also be in the crate. So feel free to ask us whenever you see us about any of this stuff, and we should be able to help you.
If you want to stay for another 15 minutes until 4, just to kind of work, if you have any questions, we might be able to talk to Rachel. That'll gain this account for 2 workshop credits too, because it's twice as long as most workshops as well. So,
Yeah. Somehow doubtful. I think pretty close.
probably. But we can try. If not, thanks everyone for coming. Hopefully you learned something new, or at least have a good starting point for the rest of your mice project.
Mm-hmm. And good luck to y'all with your mice projects. I'm sure they're all going to turn out great. Yep. Do you want to go on to